Golden Anchor Quilting community. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're joining live or later on. We appreciate you coming to spend this time with us. My name is Louisa Grindle. I'm the owner at Golden Anchor Quilting, along with my husband, Darren Grindle, who continues to prefer to be behind the camera. We are located in Claremont, New Hampshire. Please remember that the easiest and free way to support our channel is to like our videos, share our content, and subscribe to our channel. So just click those buttons and it helps us grow and helps us get the word out about how awesome it is to come play here at Golden Anchor Quilting. Tonight's question, we ask a question every week that we then let you answer in the chat, and we draw from those names a winner of the sample that we sew at the end of the broadcast. Tonight's question, we gave you a sneak preview and some time to do some research before this week's question. But this week's question is, what do you like to do with border stripe prints? So those are the prints that are stripes across the fabric, and they're designed to be cut in to make borders of a quilt, and they have wonderful designs and motifs on them. But sometimes people look at them and say, what do you do with that? So that's our question. What do you do with border stripe prints? And I'm going to show you two examples during the broadcast tonight of what I've done with them. You may even see one behind me and have a sneak peek of what I'm going to talk about. But we'd like to know what you like to do with those border stripe prints and get some inspiration. So if you answer that question in the chat, then you get a chance to win the sample that we make on tonight's show. The All New England Shop Hop is winding down, but still strong. As I stand here talking with you, Aunt Ellen's at the front of the shop, hosting two shop hoppers who came up from Rhode Island, and they're finishing up their trip here at Golden Anchor for the day. So we've got about 540 shop hoppers that we've hosted here, which is amazing and wonderful. We still have magazines. There's still a little bit less than a week to shop. You can shop hop through October 31st. But even if you're not going to do the shop hop, those magazines are a great resource for where the quilt shops are, what their phone numbers are, what their websites are. 91 shops throughout New England. Keep it in your glove box throughout the year, and then pull it out when you go traveling, and you'll know exactly where to go to find fabric. Isn't that awesome? So even if you haven't hopped yet and don't plan to, the magazines are great. We have turtles hidden around the shop still. If you find a turtle, we have a goodie basket for you to pick from. And we've had so much fun with hiding the turtles that I think we're going to hide other things throughout the year, maybe a different thing each month, and keep the goodie basket rolling, because we have really enjoyed the celebratory moments when people find a turtle here in the shop. And we are one of the folks who donated a regional prize. So when the prize drawing happens for All New England Shop Hop, we'll be giving away that prize. Wednesday, tomorrow, the 23rd, is Darren's birthday. He just gave a big victory from the back of the studio. So it's Darren's birthday, and we are having so much fun with the cards that are coming into the shop and the birthday wishes that are coming along with those. And he always gets a big goofy grin every time someone hands him a card. It just tickles his little, it's so wonderful. So keep bringing in the cards. We have a free fat quarter for you for any birthday card that you bring in to celebrate Darren's birthday. We're just so thankful that he's on this journey with us, that he is in there just working so hard to get all the quilts done and make sure that they're done right and done beautifully. He takes so much pride in doing the work that he's doing, but also is so honored to be part of the quilt journey and part of creating family heirlooms to be enjoyed for generations. So thank you, Papa. Thank you, Darren, whatever we call him. We just appreciate everything that you do to keep that part of the shop running. We do have some new fabrics in the shop, and I managed to, actually I put the new fabrics into a Sassy Sunflower bundle. So just hold that thought. I'll show you those when we get to the Sassy Sunflowers. And not a new fabric in the shop, but we had some new inspiration around this line. So Chris, is it still best to do this on the front here? So these are ombre metallics. They're ombre in that the color shifts from light to dark and back to dark, dark to light and back to dark again. And there are 12 colors here in the shop. We have a beautiful quilt made up called Ombre Triangles that was made from a dessert roll. But there's a whole bunch of other fun things to do with ombre fabrics. So that's your sneak peek of next week's question. I bet you can guess what it is, but I'll tell you anyway. It's going to be, what's your favorite thing to do with ombres, or do you just not know what to do with them? Because ombre fabrics can really change the dynamics of a quilt because of the shifting color, and they can be really fun to play with. And these ones are beautiful colors, but they also have metallic dots. You know, Louisa likes sparkle, so Louisa's drawn to them. So we have all 12 of these colors here in the shop, and we look forward to the inspiration that you bring next week when we talk about what do you do with ombre fabrics. So those are here. Put those back. Whoops. Oh my goodness. All right. And Sassy Sunflower, the 2 new Sassy Sunflower bundles in the shop this week. These are probably better from the overhead camera rather than me holding them out there. So we've got 2 new bundles from Sassy Sunflower, not from Sassy Sunflower, but within the Sassy Sunflower program. We've got this one with the reds and pinks and paisley and just deliciousness going on. We made 2 of those bundles, and then we brought back the My Summer House from Bunny Hill Designs to make this, because the original bundle we had, we ran out of the 5th fabric. So we redid this bundle just to feature this beautiful, sweet little house fabric. So that's the other Sassy Sunflower bundle of the week, but also letting you know there's more of these fabrics here at the shop. And nowhere. Okay. All right. We have decided that we're going to send the All New England Shop Hop off in just a huge celebration with lots of fabric flying out the doors. If you came and participated in our end of year, end of bolt sale last year, you'll be familiar with how this works. But we're going to run it again so that we can make room for some new fabrics coming in November and December, and make sure that you all have fabric that you need to work on your holiday projects. Our end of bolt sale is a tiered sale. If you clear a bolt that has 1 to 3 yards on it, you get 25% off. If it's 4 to 6 yards, you get 30% off. If it's 7 to 9 yards, 35% off, and 10 or more yards on that bolt that you clear, you get 40% off. Some great deals just in that list. But if you clear more than 1 bolt, 2 or more bolts, then you get an additional 5% off whatever tier those bolts fall into. So great moment to stock up before all of your holiday projects. And that will be running from this Friday, the 25th, through Halloween, the 31st. And speaking of Halloween, Izzy has a fabulous costume, so do I. Papa's going to be behind the curtain pretending to be the Wizard of Oz. So he doesn't really have a costume, but he's the man behind the curtain. So Izzy and I are going to be the Wicked Witch of the West and Glenda, and I'll let you decide which one of us is going to be which. But if you want to have some fun and come see our Halloween get up, stop in the shop on the 31st. We've got a bunch of classes and events coming up. We've got October 27th, which is this Sunday. So in addition to the end of bolt sale, the last weekend of the Shop Hop, and this region's last Sunday of the Shop Hop, Rick from Absolute Edge will be here sharpening scissors and pinking shears. If you have not taken advantage of the fact that he's here with us on the mobile sharpening days, your scissors are just, you know, they're feeling left out. He does a great job. He has revived my grandmother's pinking shears. He does the little snippy scissors, these kind, you know, big, small, middle, everything in between. He also has some beautiful shears that he sells that were originally designed for hairdressing, but I've purchased a couple of pairs from him because they have crystals on them and hammered handles, and I can't resist sparkly things. And they also make great fabric scissors to have near your projects. So please check out those shears he has for sale, in addition to getting your scissors and pinking shears sharpened on Sunday. If you can't make it on Sunday, you can drop the scissors off. We'll put a tag on them, put them in the bucket, and when Rick gets here, he'll start with those. It's $10 a pair. He sharpens them while you shop, and then you pick them up and you head home with super sharp scissors. It's an awesome project. We have a new class coming up on Sundays in November. The 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. It is the Country Lane Quilt Flying Geese Doll Quilt, and it finishes at 16 by 16. So it's called a doll quilt because it's little, but it's not necessarily for tiny doll. But you can see here it's scrappy friendly. We do have 3 folks enrolled in that class who decided to share a jelly roll. And are we not here? But I want them to see the pattern. How about that? I'll just squat. Or I'll sit down. Here we go. I'll sit down. Okay. Right. Well, you're a little behind her, so that's you're a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, so the flying geese doll quilt, scrappy friendly, but we have 3 people who are sharing a jelly roll and some background fabric, and we're going to make use of this awesome tool, the wing clipper from Studio 180, that helps trim down flying geese to perfection and get your points to line up. So that's 3 Sundays in November, the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. And then we continue to host our open sews on Thursdays, 10 to 5. Come work on a project of your choosing, enjoy some social sewing time. They're really fun. And then we have Pillowcase Club. This is one of our double border fabrics in a flanged burrito pillowcase. This is the style pillowcase we make, but you can make it with yardage or with a panel or with a double border fabric. It's a very beginner friendly class, one to consider calling us about booking a birthday party. If you've got kids you want to invite for a birthday party or adults you want to have a fun birthday party with, everybody could leave with a pillowcase all made and completed that they chose the fabric for and made themselves. So if that's something you think would be fun, we think it would be fun, give us a call. We can have up to 8 people in the classroom doing that pillowcase birthday party. So in addition to our pillowcase club, which we have in November on Thursday the 7th at 5:30 and Sunday the 24th at 10:30, you could also consider having one of those parties with us to make pillowcases. So that's that one. Our next round of all-inclusive Learn to Quilt starts on October 30th. This one's going to run Wednesdays, 1:30 to 4:30. It's a 6-week series. We go from here's your sewing machine and how to use it, a 1/4-inch seam, your rotary cutting skills, fabric selection, color theory, and all the way through binding your first quilt. We call it all-inclusive because it includes all of the fabric, use of all of the tools, use of all of our rulers, rotary cutters, everything in the classroom so that you can just register for the class, test the whole do I like quilting thing out, build the skills to finish your first quilt, including the long arm services, the batting, the backing, the top, the binding, everything. So for $250, those of us who know how much it actually costs to make a quilt know that $250 for that 6-week beginner quilting series is a bargain. So if you know anybody who's been wanting to learn how to quilt, let them know about our all-inclusive Learn to Quilt that's starting on October 30th. We have our t-shirt and memory quilting class series. I can't even tell which camera we're on anymore. Okay, that one. I think we can go back here because I don't have anything right here right now. Our t-shirt and memory fabric class series, November 2nd, 9th, and 16th. So that's 3 Saturdays in November. We are going to teach you how to prep those memory fabrics so that they'll stay in the quilt for a long time and go together beautifully, as well as design and assemble the quilt tops of those memory fabrics. We have our 12 months of gifts class, November 14th. This month we're going to play with some embroidery. So we have some fun in the hoop projects that are going to embroider up really quickly, and there's something that you could make again before the holidays. And if you don't have an embroidery machine, you could always come on an Open Sew Thursday once you know how to make those things and come and make more. We have 2 more days that we're doing our tippy tote class. So, hi, I'm okay. The tippy tote is part of the Sassy Sunflower Half Pack Quilt Program, and we have this November 8th and November 9th. So there's a Friday and a Saturday. There's room in both classes, and you choose your fabric bundle, inside pockets in there. It's just a fabulous tote. And we have that option to come join. And our ornament swap, December 7th, which we have 7 people registered for at this point. I'm one of those 7 because I think ornament swaps are really fun. And you make however many ornaments as people are attending, and you bring them and you leave with as many ornaments as you came in with, except all of the ornaments are different and crafted by other people in the community. We did have a request from the quilt father and his wife that we make virtual participation an option for that ornament swap. So if you'd like to participate from a distance, you can register online. It's free registration at goldenanchorquilting.com. Just register, and then we'll announce on November 16th what the final registration count is so that you'll know how many of your ornaments to make. You can ship those in to us by December 3rd so that we have them at the exchange on the 7th. And then after the exchange, we will ship you all a variety of ornaments. And we're going to figure out a Zoom component so that folks can still enjoy the festivities and the reveal of all of the ornaments that they're going to get in the mail. So we've turned that into a virtual or in-person participation event in the hopes that some of our farther distance folks in the winter can still participate in the fun of the ornament swap. We also have, not on the calendar, but something we are working towards hosting, this really sweet and wonderful hand embroidery project. So it's a combination of hand embroidery and quilting. It's flowers that are hand embroidered in between 9-patch quilt blocks. I think this one deserves a little bit of overhead camera. I'll sit down again and show people how wonderful this is. So this is something we were looking at as a block of the month where people could come and sit and do the hand stitching together each month until all of the hand stitch blocks are ready, and then come back in the final month and put together the wall hanging top with the 9 patches and the hand embroidered squares. We want to make sure that we have enough people enrolled to make it worth the travel time for the instructor for this class. We've got 3 people who have told us they're interested in this, and they are anxiously awaiting 3 more people so that we can have a full class, 6 people to come do this block of the month. It looks like most of the folks who have expressed interest would prefer that it starts in the morning rather than the afternoon, and would prefer weekday versus weekend. But if we had an explosion of interest, we could offer it both weekday and weekend. So if learning how to do this kind of hand embroidery stitching and integrating it into your quilt is something you've had interest in, please let us know, either by calling us or texting us or emailing the shop. And then I think, oh yes, are we still right there? Perfect. I wanted to share some new patterns we've got in the shop as well, and then we'll do the demo and the quilt of the week. So this is box bottom and bows tote. This pattern is special to me because I actually get to meet the designer of this pattern during the shop hop. And that's why we ordered the pattern in to check it out. We just thought it was so fun to meet a pattern designer and then be able to go order her pattern and bring it in. So this is new in the shop. It's a cut loose press, which are wonderful patterns with lots of information about how long it takes, what kind of project it is, and the fabric type that would work, and whether, you know, pre-cuts work. They're fun patterns. We enjoy doing them. We've used a lot of these for our 12 months of gifts class. So that one is new in the shop, as well as the little sister and brother apron, which is the companion pattern to the crisscross apron that I frequently wear on the show here. So this shows you how to make the kids' size of the crisscross apron that we love so much. And it has a second pattern as well that ties over the neck versus the crisscross. So we got that pattern in. We also got the Chubby Charmer bag pattern in, which is one I really want to do a class on. So hopefully as soon as I have time to make that sample up, we'll get a Chubby Charmer class going. But in the meantime, we do have the patterns. It's a great tote. Works up beautifully and really fun if you fussy cut fabrics into the Chubby Charmer bag. And then we had shared a picture on our Facebook of me with this moose, but made up with Scrappy fabrics. His name is Scrappy, and he was part of our shop hop journey. We got to meet him, and through meeting him, we found out about the Funky Friends factory. So we have chosen 5 of the patterns to have here in the shop as sort of a let's test the waters and see if we enjoy making things like this. So we've got Digger and Dixie Dachshund. We've got Stu the Sea Turtle, Mickey Mouse, Patch the Pussycat, and Kip the Keepsake Dog. So we have 3 of each of these here in the shop, and we're toying with the idea of having some sort of voting or survey option for people to tell us which one they'd like us to try a class on first. I'm inclined to do the turtle simply because it's in our logo. It's just kind of part of who we are. But I mean, we're in New England. The moose makes sense. We just did the all wrapped up quilt. Who doesn't love puppies and kittens? So there's so many options. There are so many more of these patterns too, that if people enjoy making them, we might be able to start a monthly club where we all make a Funky Friends Factory project every month and have a whole menagerie to share with other people. So Funky Friends is here, and we are looking forward to finding out how people enjoy them. Chris was suggesting we could get folks together and do a sew along for Toys for Tots to donate these. So lots of options that we could play with in the Funky Friends Factory world. Super fun. I think that's it for all of the announcement stuff, and we're ready to shift over to Demo Land, which is right here on this camera, isn't it? Oh, yes. So Darren just reminded me that in the comments, someone had asked it what the question of the week is. The question of the week is, what do you like to do with border stripe prints? So border stripe prints can be skinny prints like this one that I've got here made into a lanyard, or they can be broad prints like this one that I made up into a tote, where the stripes go across the fabric. And we just wanted to know what people do with those and what what about those prints inspires. This is one of the things that inspired me to play. We just got this Moon and Sun fabric in this month, and I absolutely love all of it, and I wanted to play with it, and I especially wanted to play with that border stripe. So I made up a tote. I boxed the bottom, and that stripe runs along the bottom of the tote. I cut another piece of that border stripe to make the pocket on the front of the tote, and I just thought it worked up so beautifully when it was structured with the top fabric and the border stripe. So that's one of the things that I've done with border stripe. And the second example of border stripe work that I did this week was using the really narrow one from Foliage and Fur Coats, which has little mushrooms and acorns and leaves and some really cute fall motifs. And you can see, since it's a narrower stripe, it really worked well to make a lanyard. So those are my 2 things. I also think the border prints might make really cute aprons, and I think we should play with that in an apron class sometime soon. Are there any other questions in the chat that I should try to address online? No, we're good. Yes, stripes make such wonderful binding. So Jean, thank you for that reminder. I love stripes in general for binding, but the border stripe prints make really interesting bindings because they've got all the little extra details in between the stripes. Super fun. Okay, so Chris was just saying that someone was talking with him about making pillowcases with border stripe prints. That could be another fun application. So in our demo tonight, we are going to make a lanyard, which can hold keys or a badge, or gosh, what else could you put on a lanyard? That could be a little bonus question for this week. What else do you hang from a lanyard? Keys, badges, and whatever else people answer in the chat tonight. You know what, Chris, throw those people into the wheel of names too if they answer what can you hang off a lanyard, or what do you do with border stripe prints. So the lanyard that we've made, I made using a bias tape maker, which is one of my favorite little fidgety tools. We actually have a couple of these bias tape maker kits here at the shop. It has different sizes of the bias tape maker. And then it also has a foot that comes in the kit that I'll show you in a couple of steps from here. So I started with a 2-inch by width of fabric strip, and then just cut off the end of the strip. And the bias tape maker has an opening that's wider on this end and narrower on this end. And in the middle, it does some magic stuff so that you put the fabric in open like this, the hole 2 inches wide. And of course, it's going to fight me because we're talking about how easy it is, but that's okay. You kind of scooge it in there, And then when it stops scudging, see, I'm trying to push it and it's just crumpling, you take the stiletto tool that comes with the kit and slide it in there and kind of push it down in that groove until it gets close enough to the end here that you can use the tip of that stiletto to get a grip on it and pull it through. And what will happen when you pull it through is you'll have that first step of pressing something into a bias tape. This isn't cut on the bias, but it's the same concept, right? That you end up with it pressed in half and with the end, the raw edges coming to the middle for you. My iron is not quite heated up, but you get it started there with your iron, and then you pull here and press here, and so quick. And that whole first step of all the fidgety pressing that you would be doing to create this strip folded that way is done for you with the magic part of the bias tape maker. The really fun thing about these is they come in lots of different sizes, which if any of you are thinking like I'm thinking, we need to get the size that uses a 2.5 or 2.25 inch strip of fabric so that we can make our binding. But at any rate, you just kind of follow it along, and as you press and pull at the same time, you end up with that awesome first step done. And then you do the little fidgety part where you fold it in half and press those raw edges into the center. But so much quicker, and then sitting there and individually pressing both of those sides and making them even and not burning your fingers and all the things that we do when we try to make little bits like this. So we love the bias tape maker for that process. And then once you've got that all pressed, let's go back to one of the ends, open it up, and fold a little bit over so that that won't be a raw edge. Press that, and then repress those 3 folds, the 2 that bring the raw edges to the middle, and the 3rd that folds it over. Give it a nice good press there. Okay, so then you've got that. When you've got that, you're going to use the really cool foot that comes with this kit. And I already threaded this one through so that I can show you how cool it is to top stitch the tube with this little foot and its magic. Chris, are we right here on the sewing machine now? So they can see. So it's this foot, and I'll show you the foot after I top stitch this one. But basically, it is holding your tape and getting it right to the needle so your top stitching lives right on the edge. I am barely even worrying about lining up. I'm sort of, holding my fingers on it in the background here, and that's it. And you can zoom along and get this wonderfully precise top stitching with that foot that comes in the bias tape maker set that we have here at the shop. You just zoom, turns it into a really quick project. Any fun things people are hanging from lanyards in the comments? Oh, scissors. Scissors, thermometers? Oh, like why would you? Oh, okay, all right. If you're smoking meat, you got to have temperature there. We added a bonus question this week, Aunt Ellen. The bonus question is, what else can you hang from a lanyard? So I'm going to show you how this works over here on the overhead. Or would it be better right here? Is it closer right here? Yeah. Okay. So the foot has this tube work on the front and then almost a regular zigzag foot looking thing there. You've got your fabric folded, and see how it has the little grooves right there. You're going to put your fabric tube in to that entrance there. Take your pokey tool, your stiletto, everything has real names, I just rarely use them, and use that stiletto to grab the fabric so it comes through that foot there. And then You pop the foot on your machine, put your presser foot down, put your needle down, and zoom, zoom. And you get that nice, precise, closed bias tape for your lanyard. It's not biased because we cut it straight across the fabric. But how quick and easy and wonderful is that? And can you imagine, folks, if you were doing that with the teeniest, tiniest little strip in the baby little tape maker here, how much easier this foot would make it to top stitch when you're making that size too. So super cool, awesome tools that we discovered in the process of making this lanyard tutorial. Awesome. All right. And then once you've got that top stitch on that side, you can go back and top stitch the other side. So I did top stitch both sides on this lanyard and the example lanyard here. But for the purpose of being able to do this demo quickly, what the heck? This foot doesn't do that part. So I'll show you my other trick for consistently placed top stitching. And that is, I line up my needle over where my fabric will be running right at the inside edge of my clear foot. I get myself started, and then I put one finger so that it's just pressing against the side there, and one finger against the side over here. And then I let my fingers be almost like a seam guide. And once that first top stitching line is done on the other side of the strip, this makes it pretty fast to do the other side. I just hold my fingers and use them as a guide to keep that straight. My fingers are slightly offset from each other, but then I can pretty much zoom through and get that top stitch. So that's my top stitch trick when you don't have that special foot. Works better on the second seam than the first when you don't have that foot. Okay, and then finishing up your lanyard, getting it onto the hardware. You want to have a D-ring or some sort of round space to put your lanyard through. And once you put it through on one side, be okay on the overhead for this? Oh, we're still over here? Okay. So, yep. So you're going to put your lanyard all top stitched through the hardware. And then follow your lanyard all the way down so that you don't twist it when you bring it down to connect with the other one here. So you make sure that's not twisted all the way down. And then kind of move your hardware out of the way. And about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch from those raw edges, you're just going to stitch across and back stitch and stitch across and back stitch. Just really get it nice and secure. Cut your thread. We'll give these all a haircut later. Don't worry about it. And then you're going to flip those. So you've got your raw edges, your seam right there. You're going to flip that so that your two pieces of lanyard make a nice little sandwich around all of that raw edgeness. And then just above that, stitch across and back stitch. And I think I caught that one a little funny, so I was making this and I was going to give it away, I'd probably fix that, but since I'm doing a demo, I won't be fidgety about it. See, I got it a little good sideways versus when I did the sample one, I actually paid attention and got it to line up pretty perfectly in there. And then, oh, I forgot. Oh my goodness. I forgot to drop the lanyard hardware down in when I did the little flippy. So I'll show you on this one. See, this is why we have backups to our backups when we're making fun things. So we'll do the black one on this. It'll be fine. So you put your end through. I'm so sorry, folks. Any other questions or comments while I'm fumbling around fixing my mistake? All right, so you're gonna follow that all the way through. Make sure that you're not flipping it. Come down and stitch those two ends together. Cut your thread. Round two. And then drop your hardware down in to that so that it's right next to where you're going to fold up from. I forgot that step. And then pull it through just a little bit to make enough of a gap that you can stitch it right here and secure it. And then stitch above those raw edges. I'm not going to do that on this one because I did a really messy job because I was a little flustered, but I'll be okay. And then stitch here. And then you have lanyard hardware that stays nicely at the bottom of your lanyard. And all your little raw edges are tucked in. And ta-da! Here you go. So, not too hard when you do it right. I think all we have left is our quilt of the week and our weekly gift card drawing and our sample winner. So we're just about to wrap up. Are there any questions or comments that we should talk about while we're wrapping up? While you look, I'm going to move the iron so I don't burn myself. That'd be a great finish to tonight. You know what? It fits brothers, most singers. That foot exists for every machine. I will not speak too quickly and make sure that I know exactly what machines the kits we have in the shop will work for. But it's a pretty universal connection. It wouldn't work on a Bernina unless you had the low shank adapter. I know that much. But I'll do some more research on that and try to get information for folks. So the quilt of the week this week has a very long, wonderful story here at Golden Anchor. It was one of the first quilts that Darren ever did long arm on, and it was Minky. And that wasn't fair of us to have him long arm something on Minky as one of his first quilts. But it didn't come out right. There were thread breaks, the thread tension, we think the thread was actually dry rotted, and we didn't realize that until we were way into the quilt. So we had many, many rows of quilting with lots of thread breaks, and we just weren't happy with it. He didn't think it was the way it should leave the shop. So we took the time to pick out all of the quilting, and then we put it back on the machine, and then the Minky on the back ran short because of another hiccup in our process early on when we first started. And so this quilt has been on and off the long arm a number of times. And the quilter has been so patient and beautiful with us to get it done. And now it is done. And it didn't feel right to pick any other quilt this week. And I didn't even tell Darren this was the quilt I was going to pick, and he would have picked it too. So we both agreed that this needed to be the quilt of the week. It is just wonderful. And the presents are so fun, and all of the Christmas and all of the beauty. So thank you, Joan, for being so patient with us in case you get a chance to watch and see your quilt on YouTube. And when you pick it up, there will be a discount for your incredible patience with us while we made sure that when this left the shop, it was done right. The Minky gets that beautiful embossed look when you quilt it. It's just so wonderful. So thank you, Joan, and it is ready. We will call you and let you know that it's in the video and that it's done and that you can come get it bound and enjoy it in time for the holidays. So congratulations on quilt of the week, and I'm throwing things, and it's okay. Do we have our wheel of names ready? All right, let's find out who gets to pick one of these lanyards to have. From answering our question, what do you like to do with border stripe print? Oh, I forgot to show you this little wheel on the foot spins to adjust to the size of the tape that you're making. So it works with all of the different size tape makers in the kit. It's a pretty cool little fun thing. John the Quilt Father. Wonderful. John, I know you're back in Mass. I know you guys closed up camp. So if you just want to shoot a comment in to the chat and let us know whether you want orange or blue or cape or fall stripe, we will get that shipped down to you when we ship your ornaments, because you folks are participating from Massachusetts. Congratulations, Quilt Father. We look forward to sending you one of those. All right. Then our $10 gift card winner of the week for folks who pay with cash or check here in the shop. This is our thank you for saving us on the credit card fees. Jill Campbell, we will give you a call and let you know that that $10 gift card is waiting here for you, and we'll keep it up front until you get a chance to use it. Thank you to everyone who used cash or check this week. I think, unless there's any comments or questions I should check in about, we good? Yeah, do we know which one the Quilt Father chose yet? I know. What is the name of the... Oh, it came in the bias tape maker kit. I imagine it has a more technical name, and I will try to figure that out. Who was it who asked that? Okay, all right. I will try to get the answer for that so that it's not just available in the kit, but actually something you could hunt down separate from the kit. I'll try to figure that out for you. I actually just discovered it when I was playing with the lanyards and the kit this week, so I haven't had time to look up the name. Thank you for teaching me another thing I should do to prepare for YouTube Live. Name the tools, right? Oh my goodness. The fall stripe is the one that, all right, I will fix that little fidgetiness and make sure that that goes in with your ornaments when we ship them down to you. Remember, we love it when you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share our content. That is so helpful to us. Come see us at Golden Anchor Quilting, where community is the fabric of our dreams.